All right, I tested the waters and it seems like this is going to be a neat little series. Anyhow, look at my tie. Look at my nice tie. Don't know how to tie a tie, but that ain't gonna stop us. Anyhow, before we get started, I want to state one verse so we start on the right foot, so we don't start on our high horse or come across the wrong way or sound whatever, you know. Gotta have the right attitude. So Matthew 5:16, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Alright, now let's get to this. So this will probably be episode 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. I don't know. I might do these 4 at a time, but alright, the first topic of AAA. I like the name AAA. I just address an atheist comment. Select one from off the internet. Very fun idea. So I'll try to counter it, dismantle it, and counter it. You know, I'll probably put that in the description, a basic info about it. But anyhow, the topic was the flood immoral. So that was essentially the meat potatoes of the comment. Someone claiming that the flood of Noah was immoral. So the atheists think so, and this is one of the biggest, most frequent topics I've seen. But anyhow, first bit is morals, and they have their subjectivism. So by saying such, he's just saying it subjectively. So if one atheist, let's just say, or 2 people, whatever, one person says the global flood of Noah was immoral, one says it was moral. Who's right? And let's say a third says it was neutral. Who's right? Who's right? But in a sense, to state such that the flood was immoral, they're saying it objectively, and they're using it as an absolute. So is it absolutely true that it was immoral? How can he get to something objective without God's transcendent mind making things so, to have decreed things, certain things right, some things neutral, some things good, whatever the case, certain things not good, a transcendent, infinite mind. So no matter where or when, certain things are always wrong, absolutely, objectively, morally wrong. But one thing that's going on here is, as I said, the borrowing of the objectivity and absolute standard. So he's borrowing Christianity from the Christian worldview to argue against it. Another thing he's doing is, with his subjectivity, what is his standard? What is his standard of morality? What is his standard of morality? All he has is himself, right? Pretty much. And I don't think that's a good standard. If people chose me as a good standard, that would not be good. I mess up. So, with Christianity, the standard of goodness, the standard of good, is God himself. And Jesus, God in the flesh. Another thing with this is they're also borrowing from the Christian worldview that human life has value. With atheism, presupposing evolution, that's the only thing that they can fall back on, to use as any foundation or support. If we're just stardust, if we're just chemicals, human life, the value, what is it? I mean, people abort babies all the time. The value of human life has gone down, at least the perception, due to beliefs. It's important. And with Christianity, human life has much, 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 much value. We are made in the image of God. We have value. So it is not moral to take the life of babies. That's not good. It's not good. But anyhow, I lost a thought there. But anyhow, this is one of the top statements that I see. It's a top dislike, is the flood, because it's the judgment of God. That's what they're getting at. So I think it provides just a window into their hearts. They know they're guilty. They know they're guilty, but they don't want to accept the path that would save them, just like the people who didn't enter the ark. That's what's going on. But anyhow, let me get a couple verses in here. I wish I remembered what I didn't say. I got a thought on the value of human life there, but I lost it. So we're not aiming for perfection. So verses, I didn't write down the verse numbers and names, but and the Lord said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Things were very, very bad. Things got very bad. God's plan of redemption was being, attacked. All the genealogy line, it was all going haywire. Satan was trying to destroy the line that would bring forth Jesus. So that's what was going on. And continuing on here, the next verse is, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. Now, that's not to say God promised everyone a 120-year lifespan. This is a declaration to Noah that everyone, the judgment is 120 years out. So that's that. But us with our finite minds, in a fallen state, who are we to question God on this one? Who are we? God is infinite, perfect, holy, just, good, perfect. So if he has infinite knowledge, would he not know what is best in terms of global judgment? And, what were the people like if, God declaring Noah righteous and everybody else wasn't, and everybody else didn't care about getting saved? They probably mocked and scoffed, and you got to not be afraid of that either. That's the thing. You got to not be afraid to get mocked and scoffed. It's predicted, it's prophesied, so it's just something to expect and to deal with. It's going to happen. I mean, most get 30 tons of memes, just attacking people with all sorts of edited photos and pictures and thumbnails. And it's kind of ridiculous. Christians get really attacked, fellow Christians. So, but anyhow, the people were not good. The people were not good. There was probably unfathomable amounts of evil, and God judged that evil. And so the people were evil, doing all sorts of horrible things. Just, you know, research the Nephilim a bit. That's an interesting topic. But God waited 120 years patiently. One generation leads to the next. So, if there's certain things, it'll just keep getting passed on. But nonetheless, God waited 120 years patiently for things to turn around. They did not. And I think on the basis of, you know, like little kids or babies who, or pregnant women with babies, stuff like that, it really, I think, falls upon the parents. The parents did not care. And also, this is pre-flood, so it was probably all one continent. So everybody would have had access to be able to be saved in time, 120 years. That was something I didn't write down, but luckily I remember. I thought of it. So I think a lot of it fell on the parents. And with the stuff with like babies and stuff, you know, there's different views on that sort of thing. And I would probably align with those babies, even though they had a sin nature. They didn't do anything wrong yet. They would have, but they still would have fallen short. But they didn't. So I probably think, even despite the sin nature, that they were saved. They were saved. They were spared. So I think those babies went to heaven. I think they are present with God. I think that would make sense. So, but I think a lot of that is the parents' fault for not caring. And what do we see today? A lot of not caring. People not believing the second judgment will arrive. And yet, we're seeing all the signs. Look up microchipping, RFID chip, and Mark of the Beast type stuff. That's another very fascinating topic. And if the global flood didn't occur, why would people get so upset about it? You know, judgments and morals are decided by God. If we just, you know, if we just go with the flow, majority, or whatever people want, things are going to decline, and decline fast. 10 years after God got removed from schools, abortion became legal. How many millions of babies have been aborted? There's a lot about abortion type topics. That's another huge topic. But anyhow, let me get some more verses in here. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. So God stepped in and put an end to that. It was just going to continue and get worse and worse as modern times. You know, whoever may be in temporary political power ain't going to fix everything. There's still worlds of sin problems. So, let me continue on here. And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. The second coming, Jesus' return as a judge. So, very interesting. People aren't going to care. They're going to be caring about different things. So, but anyhow. And then here's the other thing. In the statement claiming it to be immoral of God, how does he know? How does he know? How does he know it was immoral? You know, I already talked about the children, but were they innocent? Were they innocent? Were they innocent? I doubt a lot of them were. They were probably engulfed in a very, very bad society. It's amazing that Noah was able to, you know, be able to live in the world yet not be part of it in that sense. But, you know, the parents didn't do squat, in my opinion. And so, but the good part about this is, and it's tricky with my notes because, you know, sometimes I write something and I just don't know how to run with it, considering any time gap. But the good thing about this is we see God's patience. God's patience, his long suffering for folks to turn to him on their own time, nothing forced, just free will of the heart between folks and God. So let me get in some more verses here and then we'll kind of wrap things up because I've been rambling a lot longer than I thought I would be. And we didn't get to everything because I didn't understand some notes and I forgot the one thing I was going to say before. But anyhow, 2 Peter 3:8 through 10. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long-suffering toward us, to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, the earth also, and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. So the first judgment was with water. The second judgment, the last judgment, well, the fallenness of creation, it's all going to get burned up. Everything collected, you know, all the materialism, it's just very temporary, very temporary. Eternal matters matter more than temporary matters. So, anyhow, that long suffering, very important. And the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. That's the return of Jesus as the judge. Come as a thief in the night. So it won't be expected. It won't be expected by unbelievers. Believers can see the signs. I'm seeing worlds of signs. Boatloads of articles all the time indicate that things are getting worse. So, anyhow, let's get towards our conclusion here. So we have a perfect God, an infinite God. Man with a sin nature has fallen short, sinned against God, broke his rules. God sent Jesus to die on the cross in our place, redeem us. So he's an infinite redeemer, God in the flesh. God is infinite, can redeem infinite sins. And Jesus died and rose again the third day, showing, proving who he was, proving he is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through him. So, in reference to Half-Life 1, at the end with G-Man, I think he says, time to choose. And you gotta choose. You either accept or reject his free offer of salvation. And do not let your past hold you back from such. Do not let anything of your past hold you back from such. Anything you did or said, whatever the case, he can forgive you and he can save you. He saved me. He certainly can save you. And I hope I say that with a proper attitude and a humbled heart. So, anyhow, that was our first in the first set of AAA episode, AAA, we're going to call it, Addressing Atheist Arguments. So I just take a selected quote of sorts or argument off the web from a real comment, and we'll try and go through them. So this was, I don't know, we can call it episode 1, but yeah, I tested the waters with it, and it seems like it can become a good little series. So that's what we're going to do. So I guess thank you very much for the topic. If anybody has more comments, I probably won't be able to get to them, but I still might be passionate about making more of these videos, so we'll see. Anyhow, thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more AAA. So I will see you up ahead. Thanks for watching.